So, in the last video I made, I actually invested in the Philippine stock market because stocks were cheap and they still are. And because I had some decent amount of money sitting on my accounts. However, it would also be completely reasonable for a lot of people to not have money for investing. So if you are one of those people, don't worry, a lot of people do. So I thought I could probably make a video on how I was able to get that 100K in the first place. However, that won't mean anything if I don't discuss the basics or the fundamentals on how to save money and manage your expenses. Because personally, I have a lot of friends who are earning more than I do, plus are part of rich families, yet have low to none in savings. In fact, I often talk to my friends and I can really see they want to start investing and saving. So I thought this is not a money problem. People are just having a hard time because they don't know how to start. So I decided to create this video so I could show people how I personally save and manage my expenses. But before that, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Matt. I'm a pretty boring guy. I study all day, I don't spend, I don't flirt, I save, I invest. Pretty boring for me. But I started seriously managing my income and my expenses 3 years ago during my senior high school years. I actually made it my New Year's resolution to finally keep track of where and how I spend my money. And yes, I did fulfill that resolution. Up until this day, I still do it. And this habit has helped basically build the person I am right now. I think managing your money is one of the most underrated skills out there. Yet it's going to be one of those skills that you're going to be bringing throughout the rest of your life. And I'm not even exaggerating. We know everyone wants to earn money, start businesses, and achieve their dreams. But I think before you go for the big things, you gotta start with small things. So enough of the chit chat, let's start. So every Christmas, I would be given the gift of smashing the like button. It will definitely help this video. So every Christmas, I would go to my uncles and aunts, and naturally, they would give me money as pamasko. By the way, I don't go there just to ask for money. They give it to me. Because some people criticize me of being 19 and still receiving pamasko. I don't care. It's money. Going back. So normally, I would get in the range of about 2,000 to 5,000. So not too big. But I wondered, why am I still not rich? Why can't I still buy the things that I like? Because, I mean, for doing the same thing over and over again for the past 16 years or so, that's going to be around the number of 32 to 80K that should be sitting on my bank account. But no, I barely have anything in there. In fact, I don't even remember if I already have a bank account back then. Nevertheless, that's when I decided to change some things. So, what just happened back there? I finally got a reason to save and manage my expenses. And that's gonna be one of the main key things about all of this. You gotta have a very strong why before you actually start delving into getting the habit of managing your expenses and saving. You could watch this whole video but still not execute because you might not have that very strong why to finally start working on it. And my thinking back then was that, man, I'm 16 and I'm gonna be 18 in a couple of years, but I still don't have money on my name. And that was already a pretty big reason for me to start doing it. But considering that you've clicked on this video and watched this far, you probably have a good why by now. That being said, managing your savings and expenses have never been so easier. Back then, we would have those piggy banks where we would insert our coins. Today, we have wallets, online banking, and more importantly, apps dedicated to actually tracking your expenses. I'm gonna show you an app that I personally recommend. It's available for iOS and Android, but you could also just go to the App Store or Play Store and just search for the keywords expense tracker, and you're gonna be probably finding hundreds if not thousands of apps that are dedicated for this. The app I'm talking about is Money Manager. The app is super simple to use, clean UI, and it was basically one of the first apps to come up in the search when I tried to search for expense tracker apps. One of the main reasons why I loved it during the time when I was still using an Android phone was that you have this widget that you can put on the home screen where you're going to be able to see your balance, your income, and your expenses during the month. And when your income was larger than your expenses, that would mean a positive balance. your balance would be green. On the other hand, if your expenses were larger than your income, your balance would be red. Putting that on the home screen and seeing it every time I open my phone, so addicting to the point where I always want to make that balance green. That was actually pure enjoyment for me to do so. However, when I switched to iOS, of course, there are no widgets on iOS. I kind of lost that addiction. But iOS 14 is coming up and Apple is reportedly to put widgets on the home screen, so let's see. Okay, so my Money Manager app is actually located in my finance folder, grouped with wallets and online banking apps. And there's a reason to it. I'll come back to it in a sec. But if you open the app, you'll be prompted. There's a smooth table of a day-by-day view of your expenditures and income. So as you can see, this month I was able to get an income of 30K and an expenses of 17,000. So a lot. So my balance during that month was only 12,500. But if you click on it, you can actually see a bit more detail about a single day. So last January 30, I spent cash on transportation of about 22 pesos for a jeepney ride. And go to the calendar tab. You're going to see this bird's eye view of your calendar and the various expenses and income you got for each day. Next, if you would go to the weekly tab, you're going to see the income and expenses per week. And that goes the same with the monthly tab. So if you go to the stats tab, you're going to be able to see this pie chart of your expenses and income. So basically, a visualization of your records within the first tab. And if you actually click on a specific category, like say allowance, let's go with allowance. You're going to see the various records which have allowance as their category. And then if you go to the accounts tab, you're going to be able to see the balances that you have per account. And you could probably explore more. But here, when you go back to the first tab and click on the red button with the plus sign, you could actually enter a record in. So as you can see, let's try. Say, for example, I use my cash on food and I spent 10 pesos for a hot dog. And then if you want, you could also add some notes to it. You could do that as well and then click on save and then you're good. It's that easy. Now, all of this is great. We now have an app to track our income and expenses. But remember, this is still just an app. Without automation, this app is not gonna work by its own. And nothing is gonna change within your saving and spending habits. So, I'm gonna give you 3 things that I have basically learned over the past 3 years that have helped me develop this habit and start it and still maintain it up to this day. First, track everything. From the smallest of amounts, 1 peso, 2 pesos, or even just money you've picked up on the road. Track it. Now, it would not significantly help you become more rich, but just the single act of tracking even the smallest of details helps your brain achieve that habit. At the start, I would probably miss about 9 out of 10 of my expenses and not be able to record it in the app. Then, by the end of the week, I would see that my physical money is not aligning to the app. And that would stress me a lot. I would remember all of my expenses during the past week. I promise you, you are going to be so proud that your money is aligning to your accounts and your cash. It's gonna be really addicting. Now, the reason I kept forgetting on adding a record to the app was a couple of things. First, as like everything, you first have to develop the habit. But more importantly, there are some components or influences on how you position the app on your actual device. As I've said, you're probably going to want to put the app on a place on your device where you're probably going to most frequently use it. So I have mine on my finance folder because once I am done using Gcash or PayMaya to transfer money, I would swipe up and see the app right in front of me. I'm essentially putting myself in the position where I can see the app easily at the best times I often use it. I don't want to be swiping through my home screen trying to find the app. Plus, if you're on Android, use the widget. Just use it. You won't be the same person ever again. And last, after you've developed the habit of tracking everything, just like the first reminder, the app is still just an app. And the data in the app is still just data. The tables and charts won't mean anything if you don't act upon it. You're going to be noticing some spending patterns that you do on a weekly or monthly basis that is going to be costing you a significant amount of money. Of course, knowing that kind of info gets you more options. You can either spend less on that same thing or spend less on another thing or try to find a way to increase your income or just basically remove that big expense. It's going to be up to you. But see, this is what you do not get when you don't track your expenses. You lose options. You're gonna be wondering why last week you just had 1K and now you have 100 left. By having that physical record in front of you and that mentality to improve spending and saving, you're well on your way to actually have more money than you have today. And that's it. You now basically have the same set amount of knowledge that I do. All that's left is to actually execute on it. Matter of fact, go ahead and pause this video, go to the Play Store or App Store, download Money Manager, and start tracking everything. At least by the time you leave this video, I would have made you download that Money Manager app. And that's already a pretty big step forward. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you liked it. If you do, make sure to hit that like button, smash it, smash it, smash it. And if you want to be updated with this journey, make sure to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you won't miss a thing. Add me on Instagram at MattDoesn'tStop. I'll see you soon.